Hello, welcome to my first video for my Let's Make Magic series. So basically the essence of this series is I'm just gonna make some stuff that I think would be cool with my 3D printer and other kind of tools I have around the house. So a while back ago, it was on the Magic in August, I'd like to point out, I purchased these, I did not swipe them, from Animator's Palate. So Animator's Palate has these really cool butter knives that look like paintbrushes. So for a while they didn't have these available to buy, but I was able to get a set of 4. I believe they were like $10 each. So they've just been sitting on my desk. I don't really want to throw them in like the silverware drawer because I just feel like they're so pretty that I want to be able to use them, but also like not throw them in with the rest of the butter knives. So then I came up with this idea to emulate what we see on the Animator's Palette tables. So for table numbers, at least the old style ones on the original ships, they used to have little like paint buckets on top of foam reels, and they have the table number where you're supposed to sit every night, and just some cool, like, it looks like a paint bucket, kind of going along with like the animation theme. So what I kind of did was drew up what I wanted to model in my software. So have the base, the film base, the cup, a couple details to kind of go with the theming if the butter knives weren't there, and then slots for the butter knives. So they kind of stick into the pot, and since these look like paintbrushes, kind of be a part of the design, but also functional that you can just take them out and use them and wash them. So this is my plan. So I always start with sketching and then kind of pulling pictures or images that inspire my sketches, and then kind of briefly looking at like the different details. So I detailed like the base, what I wanted dimensions for the base, what the top might look like, where the orientation of the slits for the butter knives, and then kind of overall sketching. So my next step in the process is to, since most of all of this is going to be 3D printed, is to go into my modeling software, model each part individually, and then put it together in assembly to make sure it works out. So like the spacing between the knives is appropriate, and I can kind of model a simplistic form of this that is the approximate volume and shape, so I can space these out correctly so they're not on top of each other and they all fit in the allotted space that I'm planning on putting them in. So yeah, that's my plan, and I will show you my process. Since this is my first video, I'm just trying to get a handle on how I want to do things, how I want to document my design process. So hopefully this gives a little insight into how I make some of the things you might see around my room or on my Instagram. And we'll just go from there. Yeah. Now we gotta spray paint the bases, because I'm working on the base right now. So these are the outside ends of the film reel. I'm using Rust-Oleum Metallic Brilliant Metal Finish. You can get that at Home Depot, Lowe's, anywhere you need to. Put on some gloves. So I don't like spray paint. I don't like when spray paint gets on my fingers because it stays forever. Spray paint and super glue. Not a fan of on my fingers. So what I'm gonna do, just pop them up. I'm gonna, in order to get a good coating on them, I'm gonna need to spray them on one side and then the other. So they're probably gonna need 2 coats. So, just gonna lightly coat, get all the area. This dries pretty quickly actually, a couple hours. And then I'll be able to flip it over and to the other side. Spray paint is awesome for 3D prints. I sometimes only have limited colors. Like I don't have this like shiny silver color. So spray paint works really well to change the color of your 3D print if you're limited on colors. Because I know having like the entire rainbow of filament gets expensive. So here, I don't know if you can kind of see If it focuses, yeah, there you go. See how it's got that glimmer finish now? That really like makes it look like kind of that plasticky matte finish that you see on the Animator's palette table. And then that's where the cup's gonna go. It's like a little indentation to help just like guide the cup. So we will let these dry and then flip them over and do the other side. Okay, I just got home from work, beginning of the week, very exciting. Now I'm going to work on the base a little bit more. It's almost done. I just have to glue all the pieces together now that they're all spray painted and ready to go. And then I finished modeling this weekend, which is awesome. It looks really cool in the modeling software. So now I just have to print everything out, paint, assemble, and we should be good to go. All right, so after a couple hours, I had some things 3D printed. This thing dried, so it's all glued together. The base is done, so this is all good to go until I finish the cup portion. So right now I'm focusing on printing the elements out. So I decided to, in addition to having the butter knife stick out as paintbrushes, you see on the table, there's just kind of random creative elements like pencils and pens and cartoony looking paintbrushes with like that kind of fun whimsy tip to it. So I decided to add those elements into my cup. So if all the butter knives are being used at one point or like in the wash, it still looks like fun and whimsical and kind of takes elements from the Animator's palette tablescape. So the cup itself, I put it into my Perusa slicer, and that's going to take about a day and a half, a little over a day and a half to print out. So right now I'm focusing on printing the elements first because I can knock those out really easily. So the goal is elements, then the cup, and then I can start painting and stuff like that. So I ended up getting the brush handle printed out, as well as the paintbrush tip. I don't know if you can get that to focus. Oh yeah, look at that, see? Look at that. This took so long to model. It was kind of a painstaking process. I had to really leverage the loft tool, but this project in particular has been fun because they're such organic shapes, something that's kind of hard to do in SolidWorks, so I learned a lot and like kind of honed in my skills. So my best friend is Loctite super glue. I really like this super glue because it has the handles and it's super easy to kind of just press out the correct amount, the right amount that you want to use. It's gel control. I feel like I'm really in control with this. Just put a little super glue, and then I just press fit. Alright, so here I have my pencil base. I need to switch out the filament to do that like silver cap and the eraser. So we'll switch out the yellow. I'm not in love with this yellow. It's kind of making it look translucent rather than that like orangey gold yellow. So I don't know. I might have to spray paint it a different, like spray paint it over to get that like get that whatever I need, but we'll see. So now I'm just changing out the filament. Again, doing a gray. I'll also, to kind of get that silver look, I'm gonna spray paint it, mask it and spray paint it. And then the eraser, I don't have pink filament, so I'm gonna have to use white for the eraser tip and then paint it over and then give it a clear coat. So this should take about, how much is left on this? 13 minutes. So this take 13 minutes until the next color change. Sorry, 8 minutes till the next color change. And then I think I'll go for the cup next. I try not to run the printer while I'm sleeping, but this is unavoidable because it's going to be going for more than 24 hours. So I might as well just get started now. Alright, pencil is complete. Thinking about maybe leaving the eraser white. I don't know. I definitely gotta fix this yellow color though. Not in love with it. Alright, so now I'm changing my printer over to back to gray. And we are going to print the feature film, which is the giant cup. So we will tune in tomorrow and see how the progress goes when I wake up tomorrow. Good night. I'm so excited, it finally stopped printing. It's finished, the base. So these are supports, these are gonna get removed. But if you see, they kind of just test it out. I can put my knives in here. Nice fit. They stick out the perfect amount. Look at them. Obviously it's not done yet. Gotta paint it, spray paint it, put it all together. But that looks pretty good. So, I spray painted the cup so it has the metallic finish to it, much like the brush. Next step, cool. Next step is to start painting. So right now I have my pencils downstairs. I spray painted those yellow because I wasn't a big fan of the yellow. But now I'm gonna go in and hand paint the paint, hand paint the pencil tip so it looks like it's been dipped in paint. I think what I'll do is, since this was 3D printed in black, I might do a coat of white first to kind of act as a primer and then paint it on the color. So since my favorite color is purple and all of my stuff is kind of themed purple, I'm gonna go with a purple color for the paint. So for paint I use Basics. You can get that at any kind of Michael's craft store, Joann's. I really like this paint. It's reliable. It you don't need too many coats, especially if it's a dark color. So what's funny about the paint is I only used to operate in the primary colors, in the black and white. So I used to just like make my colors all the time. So there was like one thing, I had another project for Run Disney a couple weeks ago that I needed to paint and I needed green. So I made green, painted the thing, and then looked into my paint box and realized I had bought green because I'm trying to expand my colors. Because instead of just buying a whole set of like purple, pink, orange, I am kind of just going with the basic primary colors and then mixing my own because, I don't know, I've just operated like that for a long time. So, let's get painting. So now we have all of our pieces, individual pieces completed. We have the base, the cups all painted, and then the 3 detail pieces. So now it's time to put everything together and then we'll be done. So I think the first step I'm gonna do is glue the the cup to the base. That way I can put some stuff on top of it to kind of secure that connection, because these holes are kind of match fit, so they stick very well in there. So technically I wouldn't need glue for them, whereas this is just more of a guideline to center it on there. So let's do that first. Again, I'm just using some Loctite. Coat the edges, make sure it sticks really good. And like I said, I added a guideline. It's not that deep, it's just like a little groove, just so it stayed centered. Or I could find center on the base. So we'll stick that down here. Push it down. Seems good. And then we're gonna add our kind of weight, courtesy by Kingdom Keepers. Because these books are heavy. Probably like, put like 3 books in there, and we will wait a little bit and let the glue set. The cup is now glued onto the base, so now it's time to glue in the elements. Start with the pencils. Okay, they just slide. Probably open that a little bit more. Slides in here. Like that. Put a little glue down here. This one slides in at a different angle. Like that. And then last one is the paintbrush. I think I want to, if I'm looking at it this way, I want paintbrush tip to go that way. So we will put it in, yeah, like that. Just stick all the way in there. That's good. So that's what it looks like with all the elements in there. I'll just wait for this to dry for a second, and then we will be ready to put the knives in. These are all dry and set, and now we're done. I'm so excited. So we'll just stick these in here. I think I guess it doesn't really matter. Put those in here. I have them stick out a little bit, just based on how they fit in there. I don't want to jam them in, but you can see they fit nicely in there. And there we go. We have a butter knife holder for the Animator palette butter knives that emulates what you see on the table when you dine at Animator's palette. This is so cool. And there you have it. From an idea to a sketch to a model to the actual thing. And now we have a nice little butter knife holder for our butter knives. I think this is adorable, and I love how it turned out. I love the purple, and I think this was a good learning step for me to figure out how to do different features in SolidWorks. For example, this tip was really a pain, and learning how to use the wrap feature to get it across this cylinder. So yeah, look how pretty it is.